Yeah, the Browns had a real bad day. That's an understatement. Didn't score a touchdown, 24-6, losers in St. Louis against the Rams. Welcome to the Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. I'm Andy McNamara alongside Browns insider Matt Fleur-Jansic from WKYC Sports in Cleveland. The Doghouse brought to you by sportsinteraction.com. Matt, I'm not even calling it Therapy Monday anymore. It's just Monday. These are our Mondays in 2015. A lackluster effort. Coach Pettin going into the game. Flat out, he told the media, said, if we don't come prepared to stop the run, we will get embarrassed. And what happened? After I will give the Browns this, one good quarter of defensive play. One against the run. Then Todd Gurley took over, scored his first 2 NFL touchdowns, 128 yards, and it was multiple catches too. And, Matt, they just didn't show up. They wilted at the first sign of any pressure.
Yes, they did. They looked good when they got turned over on a short field early in the game, but then after that, things went downhill in the form of an avalanche, and they just couldn't stop Todd Gurley. He had good runs. He had good explosion. He was leaping over defenders.
Yes.
I mean, pretty much anything that he wanted to do, he was able to do between the tackles, outside the tackles, and he proved that he's a special back in St. Louis or in the future, maybe L.A. They've got themselves a good back, but, man, that defense looked overmatched. It looked ill-prepared, and it seemed like it wasted all their energy on the first quarter, and then after that, they had nothing left in the tank. They looked exhausted.
That was it. And I guess the one difference between this and other Browns games where they've been trampled on by the run. By the way, in Mike Pettin's 23 career games, I heard this stat, 13 games they've been run on for 149 yards or more. 13 games. Today was 128 by one man, but as a team as a whole, it was, again, another 150-plus day. So 13 times. You're telling me that's not your identity? This is all the games you have head coached, and over half you have been absolutely destroyed on the ground. The one difference, though, Matt, is that Todd Gurley is actually a really good back and looks like he is, as you said, a special athlete rather than the ne'er-do-wells, random guys who go for 100-plus on this team. Like, what frustrated me, Matt, I was watching it yesterday, and I thought, is Todd Gurley not what Browns fans envisioned Trent Richardson to be back when he was drafted? Like, that was supposed to be our special back. That was supposed to be our special guy. The only difference was he's out of the league, and Todd Gurley was averaging 6.7 yards a carry.
Well, Trent was good his first year, but then a lot of things changed within the Browns. I believe
he was injury-plagued too, though. He had
the team was sold, and then everything went downhill from there after that, and he was really never as good as what he was expected to be. And I think the Browns got a little bit of a misnomer when they were doing their pre-draft research on him, because I think he was a lot more hurt than at the University of Alabama than people let on. And I think that's why you saw a guy like T.J. Yeldon's stock drop so heavily when he came out, because he would have been a first-round talent if he came out after his freshman year, because he showed that much promise and then he slipped. And I think that people are starting to be aware of the fact that Nick Saban beats his backs up pretty good within practice and then within games too. He's not afraid to give somebody 35, 40 carries, and that takes a toll on you.
Oh, yeah, I would never draft a Bama back in the first 3 rounds. Never. You know what, though, Matt? Hey, we got to catch ourselves here. All right, we promised ourselves no extensive draft talk before November. We promised.
We didn't talk about bad recap draft talk. We just talked about future draft
right,
talk. That's a whole other story, my friend.
Oh, God. You know what kills me, too, in that game yesterday? Nick Foles looked how Nick Foles is supposed to look and has looked in the NFL. Absolutely terrible. You took the game out of Nick Foles' hands. You didn't. It wasn't even that Gurley ran all over you. The defensive mishaps, the penalties, the offensive line, Matt. What, did they just look in the mirror and magically get old? Like, they were handled. And I will give full credit. That front 7, especially the front 4 of St. Louis, you got 5 first-round draft picks. That is a dominant group. Those are good guys. But we have 2 Pro Bowlers on our offensive line. It was supposed to be, if not the best, right up there with the best in the NFL. They got handled. Joe Thomas looked like he had been in the league for 20 years. Alex Mack was being pushed back.
With this whole Pro Bowl talk of
I'm done.
Joe Thomas. He's not an elite left tackle. He's a good left tackle.
Yeah.
He's a penalty a game waiting to happen for the last 3 years now. And going back a few more years, I believe it was 2010 when they had Jake Delhomme, Seneca Wallace, and Colt McCoy. All three of those players got hurt off of rushes from the left side of the offensive line. Jake Delhomme in the first game against Tampa Bay, Seneca Wallace when he got hurt, I believe it was the fourth game, and then Colt McCoy in Jacksonville on a boot to the left side because a rush got in and collapsed the pocket. Joe Thomas is a good lineman. Not taking anything away from that, but he is not an elite level lineman.
Right.
First of all, he doesn't block as well in the run as he does in the pass, and secondly, he's not doing his job against the pass rush this year. You could say, well, they ran 60 plays, and so what if you messed up 3? That's the difference between winning and losing a ball game. Because if you get your quarterback blindsided hit and the ball comes out, guess what? That one play magnifies because it takes away at least 5 that you could have run if it's at midfield. And, you know, if it's on the minus side of the field, that probably is another 8 to 10 plays and probably another 4 to 5 minutes of time of possession that you lose because of a play. So don't give me this, oh, it was one play crap. He's not where he once was. He's not as good as people like to believe that he is. And it's a disease that's spreading among the offensive line because, as you touched on before we started the show, there weren't too many guys who played offensive line yesterday that didn't finish the game with at least 2 penalties.
Right. And Joel Bitonio, where's the fire?
In bad situations that took 43-yard plays or 20-yard runs off the board.
Killed it. And I got to ask, man, where's the fire? Where's the fighter Joel Bitonio from last year? Where's that grinder? Where's that down in the dirt guy? Is he picking up on the passiveness of Joe Thomas? And don't get me wrong, hey, the guy's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's going to have his name up on the Legends banner and all that in the stadium. But he's a passive guy. Where's the nasty Joel Bitonio? He's become very complacent too.
It didn't spread the whole line. I mean, Mac hasn't gotten a personal foul penalty yet this year, and usually by this point, Mac's had about 3 or 4 of them. Not that I'm calling for him to go out and just completely clock someone, but that shows you have some fire when you play the whistle and maybe a bit beyond. But they don't have it. They're very passive. They don't attack at the line of scrimmage. They get beaten off the ball, and they just don't look like they care. And if the 5 guys in front of you don't care, then you have zero hope of succeeding as a quarterback, and it's a miracle that Josh McCown was able to complete 28 passes for the 270 yards that he threw for. I don't know if the conspiracy theory could be that, you know, maybe they're sick and tired of having all this talk about who should and shouldn't be the quarterback, and they decided that they were going to play as bad as they could. And if Josh lost them the game, then they were going to get what they wanted, and they would get Johnny Football in there. I don't know, but
Joe Thomas doesn't want Johnny Football.
It sure looks like they don't want Josh McCown in the game, and they're probably not going to have to worry about it for the better part of a few weeks, if not the rest of the season, because I was watching him walk off the field yesterday, and I saw the way his arm was pinned against his body, and to me, that has broken collarbone screaming all over it.
Jeez. And Matt, I don't know why there wasn't a concussion test or how he was dragged out of the New York Jets game after the helicopter spin with a concussion when he looked fine, and after his head slamming off the turf a couple times, and that post-game press conference, he sounded loopy. That's a dude who's concussed. Somebody dropped the ball on that protocol there, because that guy was half out of it. Yeah,
100%. I mean, the first answer to his to the question, his press conference was brutal. I mean, it honestly was like, yo, he is not well. Like, you need to take him to the doctor and get him evaluated, because he is not there. And I wouldn't be surprised today if we sit down with Mike Pettin later and he says, yeah, we had to put Josh in the protocol because of symptoms he was reporting last night. Like,
no doubt,
totally would understand that, because it looked like he was concussed. I mean, having been through a few concussions of my own, I know what it's like to have one, and I know the fogginess that you feel and the slowness at which you do everything, including talking, because you're still not, in your right faculties and the wires aren't exactly right. That's exactly how Josh McCown looked last night.
Wow. You're listening to The Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. Follow us on Twitter at AndyMC81, at Matt Fleur-Jancic. The Doghouse presented by SportsInteraction.com. By the way, do SportsInteraction.com/Browns. SportsInteraction.com/Browns, and they will match. You sign up, they will match up to $200 of your first deposit. So if you put in $200, you'll get $400 in your account. I did this past weekend. I put in $50, I got $100. And you can bet right away. And Matt, I did some digging around the site too. It's a really cool site. It's not just Browns to cover the spread. You can pick and bet on different spreads. So you have the Vegas line, you have the common one, let's say 7. But hey, if you think they'll win by 10, you can bet on 10, and they have prop bets and all that. So a real interactive site, not just for football, but also for all the major sports, baseball, MMA, hockey, everything like that. So sportsinteraction.com/Browns, it's your special Doghouse offer, and you get up to $200 match there. Our Twitter question that we put out there for you after this debacle, not scoring a touchdown. The offense, Josh McCown has as many wins as Johnny Manziel has 2 wins in his last 17 starts. Is this? Let's wave the crystal ball, all right? Wave it all around. You own the Browns now. Jimmy Haslam's out. You are the owner of the Browns. What's the first move you make today, Monday? What is you come in, you saw that game, you said enough is enough, we're 2-5, this is it. What's the first move you make today, either on the field or in the front office coaching staff? You get one move to make. What is it? You can tweet us at AndyMC81, at Matt Fleur-Jancic. Email the show, The Doghouse Show, DAWG@gmail.com. So, Matt, let me pin that to you, buddy. All right? They've brought you back in. They say, Matt, Jimmy's out. Take the big office, get that comfy chair. You get one move today. What is it?